All right. Well, I want to introduce one of my students over here, Miss Cindy Meadows. Cindy, will you just tell us just a little bit about you, where you're from, when you got started on Amazon, like just a little bit.
Okay. I am from Virginia, very rural Virginia, right on the North Carolina border, and I started Amazon on the end of February. So
Okay.
I enrolled, or probably got set up and started watching YouTube videos, and then I probably enrolled with you in March, I think.
Okay.
So,
Sweet. So not too long ago, was
mm-mm.
it 3 or 4 months ago,
Yeah, about
something like
three or
that.
4 months ago.
Sweet.
hmm
So from what I understand that you were talking about in the group, you started with arbitrage and then you moved into wholesale right after that, and then pretty much right after that you kind of took off. So without giving away your supplier list, because I know people are going to ask for that, how did you make that transition?
Um, very easily, actually, because I realized I started with retail arbitrage first, and I work a full time job, and it's more than 40 hours, and I commute almost 2 hours each way, so that's an extra 4 hours out of my day. So I've realized that retail arbitrage was not time, wasn't going to fit into my time schedule. So then I thought, well, online arbitrage would be better. So I moved on to that. And then that became such a challenge with um, finding good products and the whole tactical arbitrage
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
And I had some issues with buying up some product, and then by the time I received them, I got them into Amazon. The price had already tanked, so then I was losing where I was making over 100% profit, when I
Mm,
first ordered them.
yeah.
So that was frustrating. So I don't have a whole lot of patience. I'm like, okay, that's not for me either. So let's move into wholesale. So then I really started working wholesale. So that's probably been the most amount of time that I've spent in the business. So what I'm doing is really outside of the box. It is not typical wholesale.
Good.
So um, so it's a little different. So you gotta. So one thing I guess I will say as far as my tip to everyone is think outside the box. You just because of what works for someone else doesn't mean that's necessarily going to work for you. So for me, I started contacting every wholesaler I could find, Google, and all the uh, I was watching too many YouTube videos actually, and because everybody has a different opinion of how
Yes.
to go about your business,
Absolutely.
and that was quite overwhelming with trying to listen to 25 different people of what to do and how to do. So I finally decided to stick with the couple of what truly was working, and your class was obviously the first one. And so I started working on the wholesale. Well, I probably had gotten about, I'd say, at least 50 accounts set up.
Oh wow.
I may have I may have found two that were actually profitable
Yeah.
though, because most of them are not profitable. So you have to do the due diligence and keep looking. And it takes effort. I mean, this is not an easy business,
No.
and wholesale is not easy. Just like the retail or online arbitrage isn't easy either. But again, as everybody says, if it was easy, everybody would be into it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So
yeah.
from your sales today, that's just from two accounts that were profitable that you ended up buying from, or
Sorry, that's my dogs. They'll be quiet in a second. Actually, it was neither of those. What I started doing was looking for local wholesalers, and this actually came from Senia, your video that you did with her interview, because she said she found a local distributor or manufacturer, or whatever, in her area. So I started thinking, okay, let me just find somebody local. Number one, I can pick it up. It'll save me on shipping costs. Hush. And that'll save fees if nothing else,
right?
and I
Yeah.
can build a one-on-one relationship. So I started asking around and just searching where was local manufacturers or distributors or whatever in my area.
Hmm.
So asking a million people, and actually this came from a delivery driver that I know really well, and said, "Who do you know in our area that's a manufacturer?" And I got a couple names, and I reached out to them and started talking to them. And one of them, the first one actually that I went to, said, "Oh, I sell on eBay." And
Hmm.
I'm like, "Oh, great."
Well, let me tell you where
So
you should be selling.
Well, actually, this works into my favor because with him doing eBay, then I said, well, can I sell for you on Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, sure.
Sweet.
So I just basically picked up his business and ran with it and started working it through Amazon.
Great.
So he's already set up. He already understands e-commerce. Already set up through marketplace shipping online. So all he had to do was to connect to my Amazon account, gets the orders, ships them for me, and I'm just kind of sitting here monitoring my accounts.
That's awesome. So,
So
so did he already? So were those products that he was selling, were they already listed on Amazon, or did you actually? Oh, okay.
no, no.
Oh, I see. So you made the listings for him.
Yes,
I
yes,
see.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So it was strictly an eBay business that I have now incorporated in just one product so far, just one
Wow.
product into Amazon. So he has multiple others. So
Are you gonna
just
add
kind of getting
those?
started. Yes, yes. Gradually, we're
Right.
kind of working through to figure out the logistics of how it all works and getting it all set up. Now it's now that we've got it listed and obviously it's rolling and it's selling and doing well with it. Now we are, or now I'm having to figure out the financing part of it. You know, how to pay him, how to,
Right.
get those reserved funds from Amazon
Mm-hmm.
paid and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
You should. I mean, you should look at seeing if you could pay him like net 30 or something, and just
yeah,
yeah, that'll help a lot because then you'll get that money back, and then you'll be able
yeah,
to pay him hopefully. But yeah,
yeah.
also Amazon paying you on a timely manner would also be nice,
Yes,
right?
I did not understand that reserved funds issue.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah, that's a whole
that
new
goes
concept.
away after a while,
You
usually.
think you think it does?
It did for me. When I opened my account, and this was years ago, I had reserve funds for probably like 6 months, where they would
Okay.
hold your money for like a month at a time to be sure that it was a real sale or whatever.
Right, right.
But yeah, after a while, once you build some trust with Amazon, they're just like, yeah, you're legit, so here's your money.
Okay. Good,
Yeah,
good.
don't worry about it too much yet. Some people are asking in the chat. They want to know how much you started with. Like
How
what
much
was
money?
yeah, how much money you started with?
Zero. Zero. Because I'm not purchasing this product up front.
Mm,
That's the beauty of this whole situation. And I am so grateful for this opportunity because he's making the product, he's shipping the product. He's doing the same thing he was doing with his eBay business.
right,
All I'm having to do is just connect him with my Amazon account
right.
and send him
Monitor
the
the
orders.
sales and do all that. Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, you're just sending him the shipping labels that you make in your seller account, or is he? Oh, so
Nope.
he's like UPS directly from his warehouse to your Amazon account.
It is easier than that. There
Oh,
is
okay.
a program called Amazon Marketplace.
Right. Okay.
Actually, is through UPS. It's called Marketplace, and he goes in and connects to my Amazon account, and he can retrieve the orders himself directly.
Oh,
It
okay. So this isn't fulfilled by Amazon. These are okay. I
fulfilled by
see. Fulfilled
merchant.
by merchant. All right. That makes more
Yes.
sense.
I'm sorry. I should have said that. In my mind, I knew that. I guess I assumed you knew
So,
that too.
so have you thought about putting some units into FBA since usually the sale rate's a lot higher for you get that Prime sticker and everything, or are you Prime merchant fulfilled right now?
I am merchant fulfilled.
But do you have the little Prime sticker next to your price?
No, no.
I know you can as a merchant fulfilled
Yes,
seller
yes,
down the line, but have you thought about putting units into
yes,
the warehouse?
yes.
Yeah.
But the item is heavy
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little, it's probably not oversized, but it is quite heavy. And since he handles it all right now,
You're
we're
kind of like,
kind of
I'm
just
making
getting
money.
started.
Why would I want to complicate this?
And again, I don't have, I'm right now, I'm not purchasing the product up front. So if I were
Interesting.
to purchase it up front at a discount, then I could go ahead and probably
So this
list
is
it.
so it's almost like you're just kind of like he's paying you to use your accounts essentially.
Yeah.
So did you guys
Yeah.
work out? Is this like a you get a specific margin percentage of the
Yes.
sale kind of thing? Okay.
Yep.
What
Yep.
what margin are you getting on your overall?
It you're gonna die. It's only 12%,
Uh huh.
but is such a high ticket item. I mean, I showed you
Yeah,
my stats.
yeah. I saw one sale was like $300.
Yeah, yeah. So that's not too bad off or
Yeah,
per
for
item
sure.
when I'm not putting out any money and I'm just getting a commission off of it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. You're not doing
I'm
much.
I'm based. I know. I
It's
don't say
awesome.
that out loud. I'm scared he'll change his mind. But I'm thinking. I mean, I feel
And then
like
you
I'm
have to
really
make all the
being.
listings. The making the listings is actually not trivial.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yes.
you are
Yes.
doing
That takes some effort.
stuff.
And I'm monitoring it every day, and I really go
Yeah.
in and pay attention. I mean, I monitor all the emails or the questions or the inventory and things like that. So I do work, but it's not like as if I'm having to do all the work,
Right.
as far as shipping and all that. So it's been a blessing, honestly. So I'm excited. The problem, if you look at the stats that I sent you, the problem is I'm selling more than he can keep up with in inventory. So
That is a good problem.
so that's been because he still has his other business. So
Right.
it's mine, and I was worried that mine would take away from his, or his would counteract mine. But technically, we haven't seen any of that. Both of them
No
are rolling
decrease.
great. So no, they are both working independently of each other.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool. I didn't know how that was going to work because I've never been an eBay seller, but evidently, and from his input, basically eBay customers shop on eBay and Amazon customers shop on Amazon, and you don't
Yeah.
have a lot of crossover. So that's been helpful to
Sounds like it.
deal with that. But
Hmm.
so now, once we continue to add, let's see, I think he's got, I don't know, maybe 6 other products. So, I mean, technically, once we add those, it could be,
Yeah.
you know, five,
Are
6 times
those
more.
are those other products selling just as well on eBay as that first product that you have?
They are selling just as much. One of them is almost not quite as high in price, not the ticket price. The others are cheaper ticket price, so or sales price, I should say.
Sure.
So the volume wouldn't be as much as what I'm experiencing now on this one item, but this is the most expensive item that he
I
had.
see. Interesting. So
So,
you've got that one. You're about to add more. Like you said, six more, right?
yeah, one at a time probably,
Yeah.
and kind of work it in
Interesting.
gradually because we're having to, because this has been such a success. If I we kind of want to do it gradually, one at a
Yeah.
time, because that his inventory and his raw
You don't want to
material
shock it.
orders,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then not be able to fulfill the orders. We This is the reason I don't have the seller prime badge, just because we had to move the shipping day out to like 4 days. Once you order, we have to ship within 4 days versus the next day or same day, because we had to make sure we could bill, make this basically being made to order. So it's we were kind of exhausting his inventory too quickly.
Hmm.
Again, good problem to
Yeah.
have.
Exactly. So what's your? So this is just one manufacturer.
One
Wh-
item, one manufacturer.
What is your plan moving forward? Are you going to try to find more local manufacturers and distributors and kind of do the same thing?
Yes, and I'm also working with some other companies to have other items. I've got a couple other things listed on Amazon, but they're not really. Just little stuff I'd ordered prior to working with them, so I'm just exhausting that inventory. But it's very few. I haven't even really ordered anything else new up to this point because I really want to focus on this and making sure it's all straight. But now that that's kind of rolling and I kind of know what to do, I am working with another vendor in a whole nother segment
Hmm.
to get that off the ground.
A whole different market, huh?
Whole different niche, right?
Yeah, got you. Sweet.
And I will say one item that I'm doing so well with is very unique, specific, drill down niche.
Okay.
So look for those specific items and not broad categories, because
Yeah.
it does make a difference.
One of my favorite categories is the industrial and scientific category because
Mm-hmm.
it's these big clunky things that like only companies buy and they don't sell very often, but they're really expensive and have huge margins.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of stuff that I go after anyways. It's pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, okay, here's a question. In quotes, can you give some tips on how my viewers might do this? So I assume that is kind of leading on. You kind of already explained how you did it, but what would you give for like tips for someone in your position? So you're essentially almost kind of taking commissions based on the sales, right? So that's
Right.
that's
Right.
is that are you going to stick with that model? Do you plan to maybe make
For
products of your
yeah.
own, or what?
For this vendor, yes, as
Mm-hmm.
long as he allows me to do that, because again, I don't have to pay money up front. Now, other vendors, I can't imagine. I mean, I have built a relationship with this person, so he trusts me, I trust him. So that's what's working for us. I can't imagine that would be an ideal situation with every
Right.
wholesaler or manufacturer that I work with.
Yeah.
So the other wholesale method that I'm going after beyond this particular manufacturer is the traditional that you teach in your course. So it's just continually looking for those companies that I can just buy wholesale,
Yep.
purchase up front and then resell through Amazon's
Yeah. But
method.
that's awesome that you're
Yeah.
not having to put any money down for any of these products, because now you're just like, this is like a zero startup, and you're just
Yeah.
like making money, and then with that you can actually buy products. Like if other vendors
Yes.
are like, no, we want you to actually purchase the products, then you'll have the cash
Yes.
to do so.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's working pretty well.
That's awesome. Um, let's see if I can
And
find some. What's up?
I do think this is really unique. It's
Yeah,
not
for
the
sure.
norm of most wholesale opportunities out there, but I guess that's really what I wanted to convey to other people is,
Be
just
outside the
because,
box.
yes, you've got to think outside the box. And I see it all the time. If you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing, you're selling the same exact product, you're going to be racing to the bottom with the prices, and
Exactly.
how frustrating that is. So this is something so unique. Not everybody even
Mm-mm.
has or can get the item.
Exactly.
So
Um, so everyone in the chat's arguing between each other, saying that they think that the manufacturer will cut you out, and I don't. I mean, they won't, because they have
okay,
to they have to manufacture it, so they don't have the time to do the sales.
yeah,
Whereas you're basically working for them, like they're playing you
okay.
almost like you can explain it, but
Okay, here, I thought of that, and
right,
I have asked that question to him multiple times. Like, you don't need me. Why do you need me?
yeah,
So here's what I did. I took the price that he was selling on eBay,
mm-hmm.
and I increased it to sell it on Amazon, and and uh, for the amount of the fees and my commission. So once it's all said and done, I'm paying him back the same amount he
That
would
he
be
would make,
making if he's selling it himself.
right.
So now he doesn't, I'm no threat now. So he's making the same amount. I'm just handling the work
Exactly.
part of it.
Exactly. As a manufacturer, you don't want to have to be dealing with customers and selling stuff like,
Right.
if you can find someone to control your distribution channel that you trust to do it, and you're
Yes.
clearly doing a good job, like they're not going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to go over your head and do it myself," because they don't know how to do it. So,
Yeah. And he's very proficient with eBay. And the first question I asked was, "Do you sell on Amazon?" He's like, "No, I hate Amazon."
hmm.
So I'm like, "Okay, great, I
All
do."
right.
I'll take it. So
Has he had bad experience in the past, like selling to Amazon or anything like that?
no, I think the overall consensus is the amount of fees that they take,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
it's higher than eBay, and he can just make a better profit on eBay.
But you
So
sell more units on Amazon. But I guess
yes.
that is one of his problems right now, is getting that velocity up as far as manufacturing time.
Hmm. And
Interesting.
he's actually in the process of hiring more people because of my Amazon business. So
That's awesome.
um,
So you are
yeah,
you are growing your own business and helping other businesses grow as well.
that's right.
That's the
That's
true
right.
entrepreneurial spirit right there.
Yeah,
Creating
it's
jobs.
uh, hopefully so I can retire.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean that's my goal, is to really build it up. Obviously, so I can do this full time. But it's been interesting. I mean, obviously he could cut me out at any moment, like you say. But I tried to build in that safeguard, and to where it's no advantage to him to cut me out now, because I'm doing all this work, and that it's not costing him any extra money. He's making the same amount he would normally be making.
Interesting.
So that I,
Yeah.
trying to figure that out.
So it must be selling, if it's selling for 300, or that one product, right? It's selling for 300 on Amazon. What's it selling for on eBay, that you were able to increase it so much that people still bought it on Amazon?
Much cheaper.
Much cheaper, significantly. Because I mean, I'm thinking of the fees, and you said it was like a heavy product, so including like all of that. I mean, 15%, I guess, is their standard referral. So
Yeah, yeah.
so you just
And
kind of bumped it up that much, and then you're just like,
mhm.
here's the same amount of money you would have made on eBay, but I'm gonna give it to you. Is the sales? I would assume the sales velocity is higher on Amazon than it is on eBay. Like if he's selling one on eBay, how many are you selling on Amazon comparatively?
Um, I'm outselling on Amazon than he's selling on eBay.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, I believe yes, because
Amazon's just got more
amazing.
eyes on it. It's just got more traffic.
Probably. I know on interesting on if you go on eBay, you can look at the amount of sales. It'll tell you how many sales, and you can click on that number and see the sales and the dates and
Right.
of the people that purchased it
Mm-hmm.
and the dollar amount. Amazon doesn't do that, but eBay does. So when we first started talking, and he told me he did this kind of volume, I'm like, is this true? So I went on eBay and looked, and sure enough, I counted.
Yeah, you can see all the sold listings.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I guess the bottom line, go to eBay. That's another
If it
tip. Yeah,
sells good
what
on
I'm going to
eBay,
do
it's gonna
next.
sell good on Amazon. That's
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to start looking on eBay for deals and see if I can find manufacturers, and then do the
interesting.
very same thing.
A couple good questions actually. Do you have any sort of contract with this manufacturer?
No,
Okay. So it's just
and
and I don't usually either because I buy the inventory, but it's just since you don't own it and you're selling, people are wondering if you set up some sort of contract. But I mean, it sounds pretty straightforward. You're just getting paid a commission for selling the products.
right, and you think about it. I'm the one getting paid by Amazon. I've got his money to pay him
Right.
because I'm getting the money first. So if it would be different if he was selling it and then he had to pay me, then a contract would be
Yes.
more
Yeah.
required. But
Yeah.
I'm getting the money first, so it's up
Exactly.
to
You
me to
would
pay.
think that he would want to get a contract
Yes,
between y'all two
yes,
because you could just be like, oh, I'm keeping all the money, but then he wouldn't
right,
he wouldn't ship your orders anymore.
right.
But
So
speaking of that, like, how are you implementing like quality control on products that you're not seeing the orders, right? Because they're going right from his warehouse to the customer. Um,
correct.
I'm assuming you're just trusting that they're shipping out everything properly.
Yes, I two things. Number one, I go into my account every single day and look at the orders and look at the ship date, and I know what has to be shipped by today, and I check it at the end of the day to make sure they were actually shipped,
Right.
and it's not a problem. The second thing is he's already an eBay seller. He understands
All the
the metrics,
logistics.
your seller metrics, and he
Mm-hmm.
understands the importance of 5-star reviews. This product is 5-star reviews across the board. So there is no, he doesn't want to jeopardize that. His
Right.
name's on it.
Yeah, it's
So
his
I don't,
product, right? He doesn't want to
right,
jeopardize his own brand by
right,
shipping out bad quality product. So,
correct.
hmm,
So I'm totally comfortable with all that. And I've even helped him on a couple things like the insert into the box to customers and things like that. So I'm trying to provide value, as much value as I can,
right. So
to be a support.
you got an insert that has you ask the customer to like leave some review or feedback
Yes.
or get a
Yeah.
warranty or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Contact information. Make sure we get reviews.
Now is
Also,
that your contact information or the manufacturer's?
it's his.
Okay.
It's his because he's the expert at the product.
Exactly.
So my name and number is on my Amazon accounts, but
Mm.
anything that I get, I go straight to him and say, "What's the answer to this question?" So I
Right.
can reply that.
Right.
So hopefully I'll learn it soon enough and can answer my
Sure.
own questions. But
Yeah.
right now that's
That's
working.
awesome.
He's very responsive to me. You got to think about or understand this is a very rural area, so it's a family owned business. It's not a huge corporation where
Right.
you have to fight
Yes.
the
I deal with that all
bureaucracy.
the time.
Yeah, so I can go straight. I've got his personal cell phone. I go straight to him, ask any question I need, and he's immediately responds to me. So it's that partnership. It's a wonderful working relationship. So
Yeah. So I guess moral of the story is, find local small businesses that, have maybe a presence online, but not on Amazon, and then help them actually build their brand. And I think
right.
that's really wholesale in a nutshell is helping other brands develop their presence online.
Mhm. Well,
Does
even if he only had his own website and
mm-hmm.
he didn't even sell on eBay, then I could still help him grow his business. Just by offering the Amazon avenue.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
I, just going back to your original comment, just find those local people. You can teach anybody how to process a shipment if they
Yeah,
don't ship their
for sure.
location. If you find somebody to work with. So even if they don't already have an e-commerce presence, you can help them with that.
Hmm. So how did you? I know you said you asked your delivery guy if he knew any manufacturers in the area, and then you shot that manufacturer an email. How?
No, I went to
Oh,
his
you
door.
went to him. Okay, so
I
you went to his address, knocked on his door, and was like, "I want to." Like, what was that conversation like? Like, how did you approach him? And I mean, did you know about his products beforehand? Did you do any
no,
research? You're just
no,
like, I know you're a local manufacturer. I know you make products.
yeah.
What
I
what was
walked in
that
the door.
conversation like?
I walked in the door. Hi, I'm Cindy, and I understand you manufacture products, and I understand you sell on eBay.
Okay.
And basically, he started talking and it was explaining to me all about his eBay business. And so then I asked, I said, "Do you sell on Amazon?" And he said, "Nope, I hate Amazon." And I said, "Well, it just so happens I do sell on Amazon. So how would you feel about me selling for you?" And he's like, "Okay." And so that's how the conversation started. And we just kind of talked from there.
Sweet.
Now we probably talked a month before I actually listed the product for the first time, because we kind of had to. That was just the first initial meeting. We wanted to kind of learn each other. I needed to understand what he does in eBay. He needed to understand where I was, and he felt me out.
Yeah.
How long have you been selling on Amazon? What do you do?
Wanted
How
to make
much
sure
money do
you were
you make?
reputable.
Right, right. And so the more we talked, I think we really gained a respect for each other
Yep.
and kind of built our foundation of a business relationship.
For sure.
So, and we talked multiple times before I actually finally got to listing the first product. And mainly that was because of the talking about volume and discussing. He had to have time to, I mean, he was telling me from day one, once we decided to move forward with this project, that the sales are going to skyrocket,
Yeah.
and I would be shocked at how much it's going to be. And I was like, okay, so you
Okay.
say, we'll see how this goes.
Right.
And once I did my research on eBay and saw, oh my gosh, he was telling the truth. Um, okay, my eyes kind of opened. Then like, okay, this just might be possible. And then you see my numbers, and that's less than 30 days. It's shocking to me.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And that's
Shocking.
just going to keep going up as you add more of his products, find other vendors.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do hopefully kind of the same deal. Do
Yeah.
you have any other vendors you're working with now that you kind of building that relationship? Because I think that's super important when you're starting, is building that relationship, and that can take months to
Oh, it
build a
definitely.
solid, trusting relationship. You trust the vendor, they trust you to sell their product because it's their brand, and then it's also your account that's going to face any negative, transactions or
Yes.
anything.
Yes. That's the key to finding someone that's already e-commerce savvy, because if
Yeah,
they don't understand the negative impact they could have on your seller metrics, that could be devastating.
yeah, for sure.
So it and you could teach someone that, but
Yeah.
it's critical. So the other local people I've been working with, as far as they're more distributors instead of manufacturers, and the price point's not there yet.
Right.
It's not. I don't think it's ever going to be there. They just can't
Hmm.
sell to me as cheap as I need. So I'm right now. I'm looking at other companies that are not local to me, and just continuing to build relationships with finding manufacturers in whatever niche it is, and just trying to get accounts set up. And of course, you have to go through all the trouble of getting your account set up before you get to see their prices. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's a
Yeah.
lot of effort.
We actually,
But for
me and my business partner that I brought him on a few months ago, we actually hired a out of country employee to do that. So we gave them a super long list of all of the possible suppliers. Like, we got the
Mhm.
list from ASD, which is one of the largest like vendor meetups in the world, and we were just like, hey, go through this list and find every vendor that has products that would meet what we're looking for. So either no
Mhm.
presence or low presence on Amazon, kind of like what you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just kind of go through all of them, and then after that, then my COO, he goes through them and contacts them, and then we actually have the assistant fill out all of the application, because that filling out the applications is the worst part,
Oh my
like you're
gosh.
saying.
I'm
It's
telling you, I have spent days,
yes.
days, and days and days in a row just printing information, filling out the information, emailing the information, waiting for the responses, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go. I feel like you have to put in your time and go
Absolutely.
through that. So that's when I found this local person. There was some frustration with the lack of results or fast results from all the ones I had contacted online. I'm like, if I can deal with somebody personally direct, I can drive to his door and pick up stuff if I need to, which
Yeah.
was, what I thought, how I thought it was going to work. But once he allowed me to just, ship for me and I pay him after the fact, then I worked out better than I even imagined.
Yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Crazy awesome. Let's see if there's any. We'll go to the chat. See if there's any questions here. How long have you been selling again? You said you started selling like just 3 or 4 months ago.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so a lot of these we already talked about. So, um, do, do, do. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Cindy? She's here. Making moves with these distributors and manufacturers. So if anybody has any questions for her, I think everybody is very excited. They're like, this is such interesting information. So it's really cool
Yeah.
to hear your business model. It sounds like everybody I talk to has a different way of doing this. So it's
Yes.
always cool to see all the different methods and different ways that everybody
Hmm.
sells their stuff or sells other people's stuff most of the time. So
Right. Well, a couple things I guess that really helped me was number one is to focus and just I felt so disorganized by all the YouTube videos I was trying to watch and all the Facebook page groups I'm on. And it's truly overwhelming. I ended up, and not all the information you read is correct
right,
or
right,
hear is correct. So you really have to be smart about deciphering what's good information and what's not, because there is a lot of wrong information out there. They will get you in trouble. So you really have to be smart. So I ended up canceling myself off of a lot of these Facebook pages and just focusing on the
mm-hmm,
important ones. So I'm truly only in maybe 3 or 4 now. And the ones that yours, obviously, and a couple more that I feel like are tried and true, honest, good information. So that would be the first tip I would give people.
you just try to
But
cut out all of the just a lot of noise and just focus on like what
yes,
you're trying to go after.
yes,
Yeah, I
it's
agree with
just
that.
too much. And going back to the online arbitrage, I mean, who's got time to visit 50 or 100 sites a day to find a deal? I
Exactly.
don't have, I just don't have time to do that. So if I can work one on one with even one, two, 3 or 4 wholesalers, then
Yep.
I'll be able to. It maximizes my time
Yeah.
more efficiently. So
I also hired out the tactical arbitrage searching to someone else because I don't have the time to do it either.
mm-mm.
I'm trying to do all these other businesses and help my students and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, time optimization, I guess, for yourself is
Mm-hmm.
super important.
Yeah.
What's your goal in the next 90 days? So like over the next 3 months, because like we just like Q3 just started yesterday. Q4 is in 3 months. Do you have big
Mm-hmm.
plans for Q4? Is this a product you think will sell well? Are you planning to try to get more products that will sell well in Q4? What are you going to do over the next 3 months?
Um, I'm really worried about Q4 because my manufacturer for this one product did 4 times the volume in the month of December alone.
Sounds about right.
So, yeah. So I already with running out of inventory and having to slack back from 1 day shipping to 4 day shipping,
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried. And unless he really hires 3 or 4 more people, then I'm worried that the
Right.
demand
Yeah.
is going to be able to keep up. So obviously, it's going to be a hot product because he already experienced that this past December. He's only been selling, I think, not quite, almost a year on eBay.
I see.
So he's already been through the first, fourth quarter. But in addition to that, just working with him, this other wholesaler, I'm really, really, really working hard with trying to find groupings of products. Okay, so let's say I'm working with a wholesaler. that I'm already in contact with, already have an account set up. So I already know that selling on Amazon is a possibility or good option. So I'm taking those products and I'm bundling products together to make my own bundle. So now I'm just trying to figure out what's the right bundle to make it profitable or the most profitable.
Right.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So creating my own private label, but it's through a U.S. seller through a wholesale.
Yeah,
And
but it's your listing.
it's my listing. I've already gotten my UPC codes and things like that. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you did end up
Reserved.
buying UPC codes for that bundle then?
Yes,
I
yes.
see.
I went ahead and bought. Well, see, I needed a UPC code for this manufacturer's the one product
So
I'm already selling.
he doesn't have UPCs for his products yet. I see.
Doesn't have to. eBay doesn't
Yeah,
require
eBay
them.
doesn't require it. Okay.
So I
Interesting.
went ahead and bought a block.
So then you own the UPC to his product.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think he would want to screw you over then because he'd be like, "Well, I own your product technically." So, but you've got. I'm assuming you set up like an LLC to run all of this as well. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I don't
from
think
day
you
one.
can't even register a UPC without one. I don't think. So.
No, I got into Amazon with the mindset this is going to be a business. So I did everything straight up front. LLC, retail tax, resellers permit, whatever.
Yep.
Got all that straight day one.
Good. So is this your job? Do you have another job, or is this like you're like, I'm full time doing this?
No, I wish. No, I work a full time job that I commute 2 hours each direction each way per day.
4 hours in the car every day. Oh man! So you want to get this going as fast as possible?
Yes, yes. That's my goal. So I'm at my going back to my 90-day plan. So that's continuing to build it up really, because hopefully the other products that I'm working with, I can get into Amazon before fourth quarter. So that would help me with that.
Right.
But my 2-year plan, because I want to pay off everything, be completely debt free before I quit my job and start Amazon. So I don't want any hiccups.
Yep. Yep, for
I want
sure.
to make sure everything's okay.
Have you? This is a question from chat that it's kind of interesting. I'm assuming you're not running any sort of PPC advertising right now on Amazon, or are you?
Very little.
Very
little. My whole monthly spend was $54. I think.
Okay. Because it's such a niche product that people aren't
Yes.
really looking. Like the people that are looking for it are gonna buy it, but most people aren't.
Right.
Yeah.
And it automatically comes up organically. So pretty much. I'm just doing the auto campaign. I haven't even figured out how to do the manual campaign.
Nice.
So that's my
there's a
90-day
lecture.
plan.
There's a lecture in there for the manual campaign.
Yep. So I just this time it's just finding the time to sit down and learn all this stuff.
Yep.
That has been another challenge, just learning everything individually, as you know. Everything is a learning curve. So that's truly the 90 days is to learn how to do more PPCs.
And then maybe outsource some stuff. Have you thought about hiring employees at all?
I have. I'm trying to teach my husband. His schedule just changed, so now he's off
Best
on Friday.
employee, a
so,
spouse, absolutely.
Yeah, so that I can manage him close. Teach him how to do it. So he's, you know what? At first it was this. I don't know about this Amazon thing. You're spending way too much time.
That was my parents right there.
And then it was like, it's like, I'm really worried about you. You need to get off this computer. And so then when I started working with this manufacturer, it's like, how do you know this is, he's not going to cheat you? And how do you, all the same questions.
Every concern you could imagine.
Yep. So now he's like, when I showed him the screenshot, like I sent you earlier, of my sales for the month, he's like, okay, can I help you do this, Amazon? So it's like, wow. I mean, so really seeing the numbers are impressive, and it's won him over to my side. So I've got support in my corner now. So
nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know. We didn't actually, unless they saw my screenshot in the group, the Facebook group, they don't even know what the magic number is. So as of this morning, it was, what did I send you? 18,000?
Yeah, I think so. 18.2K for the past 30 days.
Yeah, and that's been only 3 weeks, honestly.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah, because the first week was kind of that was before I guess you got it listed and everything.
Yep, yep.
Wow.
So, and honestly, I had no idea. Because it's the number of orders are so minimal compared to the total sales. I had no idea. The first time I clicked on my phone and looked at that, the home screen pops up. I mean, honestly, I about fell out on the floor. I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm-hmm.
that true? Is that a mistake?
Right.
So that kind of got me all excited,
Yeah,
seeing a really good number. So
that's sweet.
yeah,
Everybody in chat's freaking out about your 4 hours in the car, saying with that time you could do so much more. So are you like
I
listening to
do.
podcasts and stuff, or like
Yes,
yes?
yes. I turned off Sirius and I
Mm-hmm.
listen. I have unlimited Wi-Fi on my phone,
Sweet.
and I listen to YouTube video trainings the entire way up and back.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
all I do. That's all I do. And I also have a company car, so I don't have to worry about gas and all
Oh,
that. So
sweet.
otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
So that no normal person could use your own car for that kind of distance. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
that's a perk.
That
Yeah.
is nice.
But yes, so that's my only time to learn, and then obviously I can't take notes or anything, so I just try to, and I
Remember
stick.
everything.
Yes, I just listen, 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 and then there's something really, and I try to stick to one theme. So if I know if I'm or a channel, I guess I should say, and watch every video that particular topic is on for that one channel. And that way I know at the end of the day or at lunch or wherever, when I stop, if it's something that was really important that I need to remember, then I can just share it to my
Yeah, jot it
email
down.
so I can,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, go back and look at it later.
Sweet. Have you
So,
have you listened to my podcast yet? We're just starting it.
uh, no, I don't think so. I need a link. Send me a
Yeah,
link.
it's in my most recent video, or I think so. It's on. If you go to my channel, it's under the
Okay.
links on the side. So for
Okay.
everybody else watching my podcast, we're on episode 3. Episode 4 comes out tomorrow. We
Okay.
actually we interviewed this guy that started with RA, and then he built that to a $10 million a year business with
Oh my
RA,
God.
and I was like, how? So,
Wow.
but yeah, so
Wow.
we talk about how he did all that tomorrow. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Well, one thing that I want to mention about that, I'll tell you, I was so frustrated in the beginning because of all these success stories out there of doing RA and OA. I'm like, how
Right.
did they freaking do it?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And
As long as you find your thing, like you're like,
right,
I don't want to do arbitrage, but here's this opportunity in wholesale. So I think everybody's
yeah,
got their own thing that makes sense to them, and it sounds like you found yours for sure.
yeah, yeah, and just praying it last.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it will. I mean, build
praying it
build
lasts.
build more relationships. Have you thought about going to ASD this year?
I would love to. Now, when is that?
It is
Is
the end of this month, or
oh, okay.
yes, yeah, it's like the 28th of this month or something, 27th
Is
or
that
28th of this month. It's in Las
is that
Vegas.
Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did they just have one last month?
They have them twice a year. They have them in March and then in August. So I didn't go to the
Okay.
one in March this year, but I am going to the one at the end of this month.
I am definitely interested. I don't think I'll be able to get there this month, but or next month, whatever. But I
Yep.
definitely am interested. It is on my radar to
Yeah.
attend. I
Yeah.
really would love to do that.
And then there's also local trade shows you could be going to too. There's one here in Dallas that my business partner was supposed to go to last week, but he didn't register in time. But we got their vendor list anyways. So I
Yes.
don't know if there's any around you, but that's definitely where you would find those
Hmm.
local manufacturers. Aside from just asking your delivery guy, which sounds like it works too. So
Yeah. I have looked online, and the closest ones I think are New York and Florida. Since I'm in Virginia, I could just choose which direction to go. But I will say I had an e-commerce business, just Shopify account where I sold online, and I learned the trick then just through Shopify to go on these trade shows, and you can get the vendor list and just work through those, and
yep.
you don't have to attend. So for people like me that live far away from a trade show, just contact the vendor list and go through them one by one.
And that's
And
exactly well, that's what we're doing now to prepare for ASD, and we're gonna like schedule meetings with the people we really want to talk to, and then we're
right.
just gonna like ask them all the questions and try to like again build a relationship with them. And we don't suspect that they're gonna want to sell to us right away. They might be like, oh, we already got a seller, but you build that relationship over
Yep.
months, And then they're
Yes.
like, okay, we trust you. Here's our products. Here's our list. We'll trust you to do it. So,
Yeah. Now there are a lot of people, like you say, that in senior, I remember she had just started, and all of a sudden she had $30,000 a month in sales.
mm-hmm.
It instantly, and I'm like, how does she do that? But so sometimes it's frustrating because I'm a go getter. I think I'm smart. I try. I
I
put
think
forth
so.
the effort.
I think so.
And so it was very frustrating that I didn't have that immediate success. So I'm not a quitter, number one. So that's another thing that I will tell other people that may be watching is that you just have to put forth the effort, and you just have to keep going and find out what works for you. So don't be discouraged by other people's success and your lack of success. It
Mm-hmm.
will come if you
Mm-hmm.
continue to work at it.
I agree with that. I mean, just speaking from my own personal anecdote of when I started and not seeing anything going right for months and months and months. So yeah, stick with
Yeah.
it is like the biggest. It's what I always tell people when they're like, I'm giving up. I can't do this. And I'm like, well, you tried one aspect of a very multifaceted business. Like you got to try. If you're not like you did, you tried arbitrage. You're like, it's not really for me. I'm gonna try this,
Mm-hmm.
and then that works for you. So
Yeah.
just try it
Well,
all.
I'll admit, and I probably shouldn't say this. I'll admit I'm afraid. I haven't made the leap to go to China yet to get products
Right.
uh, because I'm afraid of the quality.
Yeah.
And even though I know I can get an inspector and all that, so that's why I chose to start in the U.S. and start locally because I can physically drive there and see the product and know
Yep.
firsthand
Exactly.
its quality. So I will get there, and I know I will. But this is just where I started, so
Yeah.
it's
and
coming.
and I don't think there's any. I mean, if you want to stick to United States-based manufacturers, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's what the president wants, right? Move jobs back to
Yeah.
America. So I mean, you won't have to
Yep,
pay the ridiculous tariffs that are being put in place right now on everything coming out of China. So
that's true.
it's not a bad plan to just stick with made in USA.
Yeah, I saw too many horror stories of being
Yeah.
just the
No,
quality not
and
being
I've
there.
I've
So,
lived through those horror stories, so
yeah,
you know.
so I like hands-on physical, you know, being able
Yeah,
to go there.
I agree. Me too. All right. We've been streaming for like 45 minutes. I mean, I think
Okay.
that's good. We'll see if anybody has any closing questions or whatever. But I know that you're busy. I know you got. Do you have? I guess you don't have work today, do you?
I'm on my lunch break.
Oh, okay. I see. So,
I work from home sometimes.
oh, okay. I see. Because I was gonna say I thought you had
Today,
the 4 hour. Oh, okay. So you work from
yeah,
home some days. That's
to,
nice.
yeah, today I scheduled to work from home so I could
Oh,
kind
okay.
of take care of this.
Good, good. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming
Yeah.
and talking with me on this stream, and I'm sure everybody in the chat really appreciates it. They think that you're like the super genius, and you thought of this really out of the box, cool way to
Yes.
sell. So I'm impressed. I like it too. So it's pretty cool. Um, so one last question, which we kind of hit on and have answered a couple times, but people are still asking, how can people watching find manufacturers that they can help? Like what, I mean, I know how you found yours, but what would you
Mhm.
say is a good way to find manufacturers that you can do what you did, kind of be like, let me help you with your brand, let me help you get on Amazon or whatever.
Well, I think that just starts with talking to manufacturers in general. You
Hmm.
don't know that if they have a e-commerce presence or online presence or not until
And
you
how
go
would how
talk
would
to
you go
them.
about finding those people? Just
Well,
Google?
one easy way, if you, I mean, I know the old way of just picking up the phone book and just
Mm-hmm.
see who is listed, or a couple ways. Go to the yellow pages and just see what you see, and go through every single heading and see if there's anything that sticks out. The other thing is the local chamber of commerce. They print books for free that you can drive by their office and look at the listing who's ever joined the chamber of commerce.
Interesting.
Smaller companies want to participate in locally and attend events and network locally,
Right.
so they usually want um, to participate in the Chamber of Commerce. So they provide you a list for free. You can also, I think they now have the list online. You don't even have to go there and get a printout anymore.
Sweet.
But most of the books are free. In my area, they're free. Now, in a really big city, they may not be, but I think they're online and that's free.
Wow.
The other thing you can Google, like you said, and I just asked. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of business people. So I go straight to them. Who do you know in this area that builds stuff?
Right.
I mean, it's as simple. Who do you know? Tell me who you know. And I mean, I've looked at all kinds of different products. And here's another way: if you know of any fulfillment centers in your area, and you're probably going to have to find those through Google. But what that means is that they are a warehouse that ships for maybe 10 or 20 other companies. So you can go to that fulfillment center and say, who do you know? Who do you have? Which one of your customers makes their own product that I can contact? And they can give you a list.
Interesting.
Of some that might work for you. But honestly, I just asked every single person I came in contact with, family, friends, neighbors, hey, who do you know that makes stuff? Who's their own manufacturer? Who builds stuff? And that's
Just
it. And then, of course,
around.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm just played super sleuth, just asking. So you'd be surprised at who people know that you don't know.
Right.
You know?
Networking is the answer.
I'm very involved in my hometown. I'm involved with the chamber. I'm involved with my homeowners association and different committees. So I get to meet new people that way. And so that's a great resource as well. Even church, you can ask people you know there. Just talk to people. You'd be surprised at what they can tell you and help you with. And people, if they know you and they like you, they're generally willing to help you. So it mainly is just a name. I even went into a business where in the town that I work in and said, because I thought they would be a potential supplier for me or manufacturer, distributor, whatever. And he said, it didn't work out for him, but he gave me a list of 10 other people to contact. Well, maybe this person can help you. Maybe this person can help you. And now I'm working through his list. So he couldn't help me, but he turned me on to other people.
Right.
So that's another way that's just local right there.
That's a lot of methods, a lot of different ways.
Well, you mainly just don't put all your eggs in one basket and only, and Google can be your friend, but Google is not the end all be all.
Right.
You got to think outside the box and diversify and use every avenue you can, because I'm impatient. I want it now. I want sales now. My original goal was to be able to retire by the end of the year because my plan was to be making six figures. Well, we're here in July and that hasn't quite happened. So I had to readjust that goal just a little bit.
Right.
But, it's still my goal. I just had to push it back a little bit. But, I'm just being determined. A lot of people, you were talking about earlier, that they quit and they just give up. This is not for me. You've got to be persistent and you've got to put forth the effort. And I just have that drive and determination to make it happen. So no is not an option.
When are you planning on retiring then? Like sometime next year?
If I can build it and pay off all my bills by the end of next year, so that would be December 31st of 2019. That's my readjusted goal. So that's what I'm going to work towards.
I think that's totally doable.
Yeah.
Totally doable.
That's my plan.
I think it's doable this year, but
well,
I'm optimistic.
This is a reality that it didn't quite come as fast as I thought it was going to come, and it took more effort than I realized because of all the gurus out there and all the other success stories showing the Lamborghinis and all that. I thought it was going to come faster, so I probably didn't set maybe quite a realistic goal. Being that I'm just doing wholesale and not OA and RA,
right.
And it's because my time is just so limited. If I didn't have to work a full-time job, I could focus on this all day. It'd be December of this year for sure. I have no doubt whatsoever.
I think so.
That job is kind of cramping my style a little bit on time.
Bit.
So I gotta readjust to next year, but that's the plan. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, I
guess now that I've shared that goal, so now that y'all are gonna hold me to it, so you have to check.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you can do it this year, so I'm gonna push you for this year to get it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me.
All right. Oh man. Well, let's just let's recap everything from what we talked about. So again, this is one of my students, Cindy Meadows. She lives out in Virginia. Contacted some local manufacturers, just I mean straight out of just like the phone book, just looking at who's local, and then just actually going to their door and talking with them, and maybe shooting some emails and contacting back and forth several times before actually working out a deal. So she spent a lot of time doing that, which is good, because that's how you build a business, is you build relationships, because that's what a business kind of is multiple relationships with other businesses. So she did that for I guess you started just a couple months ago, and you really got that going, and now you're planning on adding more products and adding more vendors, and it's just crazy. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. So yeah, I guess that's all for this stream, and thanks everybody for coming out and watching, and thank you, Cindy, for coming out and talking with me and talking to all these people on the stream on YouTube. So yeah.
Well, thank you. And I will say that your class and entire course was really, really good. And it really steps you through the basics of getting your feet wet and just building that foundation. Because if you don't have all those key learnings of the basic foundation of how to operate this business, you'll never be able to move forward. So don't put the cart before the horse. You can't be a millionaire if you don't know how to list a product. So
Yeah.
start there and go forward and grow.
Yeah, you got to be a thousandaire before you can be a millionaire. Yeah, you got to make your first dollar before you can make your first million.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Well, cool. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Thanks so much.